Elena of Avalor. My best friend's birthday. Pardon me. Behind you. Coming through. Calls Princess Elena, racing through the palace. A very important guest has arrived, Elena's friend Naomi. Her parents will be at sea for a week, and Naomi is going to stay with Elena at the palace. That evening, Elena and her family learn that Naomi's 16th birthday is that weekend. Oh, no. Your parents are going to miss it. Elena cries. Naomi shrugs. Birthdays aren't a big deal in my family. Well, birthdays are a big deal in Avalor. Especially a girl's 15th birthday, declares Elena. The birthday girl's family throws her a big ball called a quinceanera. Too bad I'm not Avaloran, Naomi says. Maybe you weren't born here, but you are Avaloran at heart, Elena says. So I'm throwing you a royal quinceanera +1. Thank you. Naomi exclaims. That sounds like a lot of fun. And a lot of work, barks Elena's cousin, Chancellor Esteban. A week is simply not enough time to plan a proper royal quinceanera. It cannot be done. You're right, Esteban, Elena agrees. That's why I'm going to need your help. After all, you are the expert in all things royal. Esteban doesn't really want to help, but if the quinceanera is a disaster, Elena and the royals will be completely embarrassed. Fine, he grumbles. The next day, Esteban starts the planning. First, he creates a guest list of royals from different kingdoms for Naomi's court. The court is made up of 7 boys and 7 girls who stand by the birthday girl's side and dance the first waltz with her. But Naomi wants only her friends Elena, Gabe, and Mateo for her court. Gabe and Mateo are not royal. Esteban exclaims. Couldn't we do it differently just this once? Elena asks. Reluctantly, Esteban agrees, but only if Naomi promises to do everything else he asks. I promise. Naomi cries happily. Esteban begins Naomi's training. Making a flawless grand entrance at a royal quinceanera is very important, he declares, demonstrating a gliding walk. But when Naomi gives it a try, she trips and falls. Maybe we should start with something easier, suggests Elena. Esteban snorts. Easier than walking? Next, Esteban tells Naomi to repeat a royal address. I am delighted you were invited, extremely excited that we are reunited. But Naomi has trouble remembering the words. I am delighted, she repeats, that you got invited, pretty excited that you've been, knighted? The waltz is the heart of the quinceanera, Esteban explains next, placing a stick and water buckets on Naomi's shoulders for balance. Now, chin up. Shoulders back. Arms up. Elbows out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, Esteban counts as he leads Naomi across the floor. Learning the waltz is not easy, but Naomi tries her best. Hey, I think I'm getting the hang of it. Naomi exclaims after a few dozen turns around the floor. Way to go, Naomi. Elena cheers. Even Esteban seems pleased. You'll be the bright light of the quinceanera ball. Over the next few days, Naomi continues practicing the waltz, her grand entrance, and the royal address until she can do everything perfectly. They pay a visit to the royal baker, but Esteban is not pleased with the cake. It's not special enough. Everything must be the best so Naomi can be the best. The royal florist creates beautiful flower arrangements, but Esteban isn't satisfied. They must be bigger, he insists. Naomi agrees. It has to be a perfect night so I can be the brightest light. When the royal seamstress presents Naomi's ball gown, Naomi turns up her nose. My dress must be the fanciest of them all, she proclaims. Elena is confused. Naomi isn't acting like herself anymore, she's acting like a quince monster. Later that day, Naomi rehearses the waltz with Elena, Mateo, and Gabe, her quinceañera court. But when Esteban decides that Mateo and Gabe aren't good enough, he pulls Naomi aside and insists she replace them with professional dancers. Gabe and Mateo are hurt when Naomi tells them they are no longer on her quinceañera court. Elena is upset, too. "If you replace them, you'll have to replace me," she declares. "If that's how you feel," Naomi cries, "you shouldn't be on my court either." When Naomi's quinceañera finally arrives, she is ready for her big day. The palace is beautifully decorated and filled with guests, who admire the towering flower arrangements and the 15-layer cake. Soon trumpets sound, and Naomi glides into the ballroom to greet her guests. "I am delighted," Naomi says, "you were invited, extremely excited that we are reunited." Elena's grandmother, Luisa, looks around for Elena, Mateo, and Gabe. Weren't they supposed to be on Naomi's court? Naomi explains to Luisa that she had to replace them because their dancing wasn't good enough. "After all," she says, "the waltz is the heart of the quinceañera." Luisa gently shakes her head. "A quinceañera is a day to honor the birthday girl," she explains. "But family and friends are the heart of the quinceañera. It's also a time when the birthday girl honors them." Naomi looks around the room. She sees a lot of well-dressed guests, but all of them are strangers. Naomi races out of the ballroom to look for Elena, Mateo, and Gabe. She finds them in Elena's room. "I guess I got a little carried away with making my quinceañera perfect," Naomi says. "But the fanciest party in the world doesn't mean anything if my best friends aren't there. So, will you guys be on my court again?" Naomi asks her friends. "Sure," says Gabe. "I'm in," Mateo replies. Elena smiles and puts her arms around her friends. The real Naomi is back. When Naomi returns to the party with her true quinceañera court, Esteban rushes over. "I'm sorry," Naomi tells him, "but I don't care if my waltz is perfect. I'm going to dance with my friends." "But first, here's your birthday present," Elena says. Naomi turns to see her parents. "I sent word for them to come back early," says Elena. "Happy birthday."